Right, this is the game that we're going to get to do. So if I run this game, let's just slow it down a little bit. You can see the burgers are being captured by the tent. I can eat the burgers, and I get 3 points each burger, so that's 9 points. And if I just speed that up, in fact, let's move it just a little faster. And there we are, so I get 12 points, but I get 5 points, I get 10 points per lemon, and so on, right? The tent, though, doesn't eat me, the elephant, okay? And my counter up in the top left-hand corner is counting my points. So a few things happening, but I'm getting points in essence for the burgers, the lemons, different points, and I've got one counter there. I'll add other counters in due course, and I've got a tent there where the burgers can be safe. So let's just move me out of the way here. Let's just run that. Let's see what happens to... There we are. Well, they've gone. Some of them got hidden in there. Right, okay. Let's go and build that from scratch then. So I'm going to create a new scenario. It's brand new. I'm going to just go up a level, and I'll create a new folder in here, and I'm going to call that Nelly. And we'll call that Elephant version 5, because I've actually created a few of these now, so I best know which one is which. Right, so I'll close this one, or in fact I might come back to this, so I'll just move that out of the way, and let's go back to my new scenario, which I've now got here to reposition into screen and ready to go. Right, so world, new subclass. So I'm going to choose a background. I'm just going to choose a, in fact we'll use blue rock, there we are, we'll just put, and that's going to be called the jungle. Doesn't matter in fact what you call it, but use a capital just so that you know that all classes that you create have a capital letter. Some actor subclasses, so animals, I'm just going to create, we'll stick with elephant, so elephant, again, capital letter, compile, so everything's fine with that. Let's populate the world with an elephant, everything's working. If you reset, of course, that's not there. We've got to right click, save the world with those objects in. Let's go and add some other subclasses here. So we need another animal. So we're going to use this time we'll use a mouse. Oh, sorry, it's food that after. Oh, good. Let's go and get a hamburger. So we'll call that burger. I'll stick with the same game, although you can use any one, of course. So I'm going to use a burger. I'm going to now add a new subclass again, another item of food, and this time it's going to be the lemon. Give it a name or it won't let you save it, and if you put spaces in, lemon 1 for example, not a valid class name, so it's got to have no spaces, or just use underscore to link, of course. So I'll call that lemon, and I'm also going to add another class, and I'm going to call this counter. Now, but I'm not going to add a picture for this, so I'm just going to add a counter, and there, and I know later on I'm also going to have a tent as well, so I might as well get that. And is it in buildings? Yeah, we are. So tent. So I'll add tent. You can call that whatever you want, but it makes sense to, of course, call it tent. If you make it accidentally, right and click and remove. All right. So compile all of those. Everything's fine with that. Right. So let's put a few burgers on screen. A few lemons, and we'll have the elephant on screen. We'll put the counter on a bit, and we'll add a tent in a little while. Right, so save the world. So it's now saved the world, and it's gone to my prepare method in the world itself. And here we are. We've got the burgers; they're all there in order, and we've also got the elephant. What I'm going to do with a few of the burgers is just create random positions for them. So let's do int x1 equals Greenfoot get random number, because this is x coordinate. The stage is 600 in size. Alright, let's go and have a look at the top. It's 600 by 400. So I'm then going to repeat that. I'll just copy and paste for now, but obviously you just get used to typing in the editor, and it's going to be Y1, Greenfoot, get random number, and I'll say 400. Okay, so the first position I'm going to put in position X1 and Y1, and then I'm going to regenerate that. Here we are, those two lines again. Generate two more random numbers, and X1, Y1. Now, because I've already declared them, I don't need to use the declare statement int, otherwise it's already going to say, let's go and have a look. It says Y1 is already defined, so it's already declared, so it's not needed again. Or call it Y1, Y2, whatever. So really those random ones then come in groups of 4. Generate X1, Y1, create the class, or create the object from the class, and then place it in those random positions. Alright, you could do that with them all, and maybe I'll put the elephant in a random position as well in due course. Okay. Let's just reset, and you'll see it looks like all the burgers are moving, but it's in fact this one is going into a random position. So it's gone, there's some gone over here, and there's two of them moving around. I do that with the lemons as well. Right, okay. So let's get the elephant now moving. Open editor. So we're now into the act method of the elephant. So I'm going to, in here, I'm going to do first of all the common. If Greenfoot dot, so we want to check what key have they just pressed. So if they press the up key, if we two brackets at the end, then we're going to say move. We're going to assume that up key is move, and I normally move it 3 units, but that's entirely up to you. Try it out and see what's best for your game. Dot is key down, and then we'll do left. So if they're saying left, they want to turn the elephant. And I'll turn it not 90 degrees, but maybe in a smaller grid I would turn it 90 degrees or 180 degrees, but I'm going to just turn it let's say 5 degrees, and let's go and see what that looks like in a little bit. Right, I'm just going to copy that a second. Alright, so if key down and up, what I haven't done, and that's one of the problems with copying and pasting, you don't change parts of it, so it's right. And it's turn 5, and in fact left would turn -5 degrees, or if you want to 355, which is 360 minus 5, but makes sense to 5 degrees. Click compile, everything's fine. Let's just make some errors here, some common errors. I missed a semicolon out. It tells me semicolon expected at the end of an instruction. Let's miss a bracket here. Compile, tells me there's a bracket expected. Why? Because there's one opened. Oh, there's 2 opened, in fact, one there and one there, so close that. And don't go deleting the curly brackets. It'll give a parsing error because it's noticed one curly bracket's open and one's closed. One's open, but there isn't one closed in it, so it needs a curly bracket there, which I'm going to bring back a little bit, just in line with it. So any curly brackets, close them. Any curved brackets, close them as well. Right, let's go and have a look. Just make sure your elephant is now moving around. Let's run. Moving the up key. Whoa, there we are. And turning left -5 degrees. So there we are. Quite a smooth move by that elephant. Right, okay. So now we're going to get it where the elephant will capture the burgers, or eat the burgers in essence. So we're going to say if is touching. Now I haven't commented on this. Then remove, but here we are, I'll do it here. Remove touching burger.class. Alright, first of all, semicolon, I'll need that, but it's now going to give me another error because it doesn't know that command, remove touching, because by the conventions here in Java it's lowercase at start and then capital T with is key down, capital K, capital D. There's no variations, they've got to learn that as it is. So there we are, no syntax errors, that's great. Right, I've also put in the folder where this, or I will put in that folder, I'm going to put a sound in. So let me just do that a second. So I'm in the Nelly folder made, elephant version 5. Let's go to sounds. There's no sound in this, so I'm going to paste this pop.wav sound, WAV, that exam board gives, and we're going to use that now in just a moment. So what I'm in fact going to do, Greenfoot dot play sound. Make sure you get the file name right. If it's MP3 file, do MP3. This one's a WAV file. Let's have a look at a couple of errors with that, and it's a semicolon at the end. So let's compile that. Now we will have an issue when we run this. Let's go run this. Oh, not such a great sound. Now the reason that's happening is because the Java line Greenfoot.play sound popular WAV is running regardless. It's not dependent on this if statement, this if selection. So that's why I'm going to add a curly bracket. Remembering what I've said previously, close a curly bracket as well after there. Now both those lines are dependent on that is touching event occurring. So let's now compile. Let's go and play. Great. So let's just check. And there's the pop. Only occurring if they're eating an elephant, if they're eating a burger. Right, back to the elephant coding. So we've got that. And what I'm also going to do in a moment, I'm going to add the counter line as well. But let's deal with the lemons as well. So I'm going to do if is touching lemon.class. Again, open curly brackets. Close curly brackets. I like to close them when I make them. So I'm just going to remove touching dot so remove the lemon class semicolon, and also I will use the same sound, although if you do creating this yourself, why not create another sound? So let's compile. Oh, there's a bracket missing. So we've got that. So now he's eating lemons and burgers. Right. Okay. So now let's get the counter working. So we're going to move across now to the counter. Let's put a counter in onto the screen. That's where the counter is. Doesn't look too much at the moment. So let's open the editor and we'll get the counter dealt with. Now there's a few lines with the counter. So first of all we need a variable first of all with it. I'm just going to get rid of those annotation lines because I'm going to use that. We don't actually need the act method for the counter because it's not going to interact with any other objects. So I'll just do that. So I'm going to start off with a, let's spell that right, private integer, and this is going to be called total counter use, and I'm going to set its initial value to 0. I'm going to define the counter as and how it looks, and it's going to look like this: set image, new Greenfoot image, we'll start the value off with a string 0, font size, and then we'll also put in there color dot comma dot what other one do I like? Yellow. We'll have the yellow. Now in order for that to run, I'm just going to add this at the top. Now you won't have to do this part in an exam, but just if you're creating it yourself, you need to load that library, the color library up. So let's just compile that. I'm missing a bracket at the end of that. I am, indeed I am. Let's go and put one there. And a semicolon. Click compile. Variable color also needs a capital letter, and so the second one was going to need a capital letter. Good to see the mistakes because we know how to solve them when we meet. And also if you spell yellow right, that will help considerably as well. So no syntax errors. I always like to see that. So let's put the counter back on again, and there we are. That's how it's going to look. Don't forget save the world or the counter disappears. So now on the elephant, I'm now going to put the before I do that, I need a bump count module for here. So public void, this is going to be the object that's going to be called by the elephant when eating a burger. So, or the method called total count, and we'll say plus equals amount. I'm going to send a parameter when I call the counter. I'm going to send a parameter. It's going to be the amount. Okay, so we're going to put in there, and then we're going to then set the image again. And combine total count. The plus sign will just combine and concatenate the blank with total count. If you want to see a 0 at the start, or if you want to see the word score, then do that. But I'm just going to leave it blank and then add total count. So click on that. So back to the elephant, and then we get this large line, which I'll just paste in for now. But so I'm going to the elephant coding, and let's now just, after that, let's just go and I'll paste that line in, and I'm going to give them 3 points for a burger, and for the lemon, I'm going to give them 10 points for the lemon. Let's compile that, everything fine. Let's run the code. So there's 3 points, 13, so we're up to there. Of course, if I go in the bottom corner here, we've got a bit of things going on about eating. And alright, so anyway, a little unfair on the burgers, a bit too easy to do this game. So what I'm now going to do, I'm going to do with the burger, I'm going to add a method for the burger to move around. So if I just create some random numbers now for the burger to move around. So we'll have int x equals Greenfoot get random let's spell Greenfoot right. Oh. So we get a value. Now with that value I am going to decide if x, if statements then start with the brackets. If x is less than 10, so it's got 10% chance of moving, let's turn -5. We already see -5 turns to the left. However, if x is greater than 90, then let's turn 5 degrees. So it'll turn the other direction. But then it's just moving, it's just standing still. So maybe we can have it as a perennial mover. So I'll just move it. Maybe make it move 2 all the time. Now you may find that it gets stuck against the edge with some of these things. So that's what we'll, let's compile. And see what this looks like. So there we are, there's the burger. It does get stuck against the edge, and that's what's going to happen with it. So maybe we're going to need to give it a bit more opportunity to move then in this case. So I decide that I'm going to give it a 25% chance of turning, or 25% chance. Bear in mind I'm using the same x value here. Put a space in so we can see it a bit more clearly. Okay, so compile that. Let's run. So there's a bit more. Okay, so there's a bit more of a chance. Now, however, we still get caught over there, so I'm going to rebound them if we hit the edge. Now I know that some people want to do this, so we're going to then decide if, well, let's get the x coordinate. If get x, and if it's greater than 590, or that's the vertical bars. Oh, that's not there. There, it's next to the Z key on mine. or if get x is less than 5, then what we're going to do is turn, I'm going to say 100 degrees, just to try that value. It seems to work all right. All right, and I'm going to do similar sort of thing in the y direction. But you get the y coordinate and the y coordinate. Bear in mind the y is only 400 in height, so we're less than 5. So now we compile that, all no errors. So now let's run it. So if they do, they just come back off the edge. So yeah, that gives them a bit more. Makes it a bit harder to catch them. There we are, but not so difficult. Maybe we could raise the level a bit. Right, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a tent. So give the burgers a little bit of a chance. So I'm going to right click, open editor for the tent. On its act method, I will, if is touching burger dot class, then remove touching burger dot class. Alright, now we may want it to make a sound, or we may want it to take some points off the score. So if I'll go back to the elephant code here. So I'm going to just take that line, copy that, go back to the tent, and we will bump the count. In fact, we'll take -5 off the count. Compile that. Everything's fine, except the class has a lowercase c. And you'll see that when I put the tent on, put it there where, in fact, we put it near them all. Right and click, save the world. Let's now run. There we are. So burgers disappeared, and I've got -5. Oh, I'm losing lots of points. Now that's a curly bracket issue. So let's just, you can see that that line is running in any case. So that's a little unfair on me. So I'm now going to curly bracket there, and I'll just bring that one back in line and compile. Let's now run it again. There we are. So we got -7 points. 9. There we are. So I need to get it before it gets to the tent. There we are. So, all right. Pause. Reset. You may decide to do something like on the elephant itself. Is if they touch a B key or something, well, give them a boost. Let them boost move 5 or something like that. But then that could bring the energy down and so on. Okay, so that's a starter, just to get to that point, and that's similar to what an examination would require. Next session, I'll have the tent actually have its own counter, and it takes counts the number of burgers that it catches.